This video contains Battle for Azeroth plotline spoilers. Throughout the Warcraft story there have always been two existential threats to the mortal races of Azeroth, the Burning Legion and the Old Gods. We have nullified one threat and there are aspects of Battle for Azeroth which make it look like we might be gearing up to take care of the second as well. So, in Warcraft 1, it was all about the Orcish invasion, which of course was orchestrated by the Legion. In Warcraft 2, as well as the ongoing war with the Orcish Horde, we were also introduced to Deathwing and the Cultists of the Twilight Hammer, both influenced by the Old Gods. In Warcraft 3, we saw those same threats, plus the Naga, Old Gods, and the Scourge, Legion. Throughout World of Warcraft, we have mostly been facing off against the agents of both the Old Gods and the Legion, with occasional stopgaps with homegrown threats in the form of elemental lords. With Legion, we have defeated the Burning Legion. The whole event is still rather baffling to me, but that's what's happened. So now we turn our attention to the ever-present and previously untouchable Old Gods. I say untouchable because the first attempt to destroy the Old Gods threat involved Aman'Thul, the original Titan, ripping one of them, Y'Shaarj, from Azeroth, but creating a severe wound in the process. This was tended to in some panic and became the Well of Eternity, but put them off trying anything like it again. The Old Gods were instead imprisoned within Azeroth, but the Titans otherwise considered them to be unkillable. Not that they were actually unkillable, but simply that their health was intertwined with that of Azeroth, and so the law remained for some time. But in Battle for Azeroth, our first raid will be to a facility which was created specifically to try and discover ways to kill the Old Gods without harming Azeroth herself. In the roughly quarter of a century since Warcraft started, we've been happily facing off against powerful representatives of both Old Gods and the Legion, with the Masters themselves a seemingly indestructible shadow over everything, but rarely directly interfering. Now we've taken out the head honcho of the Burning Legion, seemingly out of nowhere, and with the tantalising possibility that taking over a facility designed to discover a way to kill Old Gods without harming Azeroth, we set ourselves up to potentially finishing off this threat, just as we've already done with the Legion, perhaps even within one expansion. After all, the beginning of the Legion story was just another invasion attempt on Azeroth. There was no setup for the actual destruction of the Burning Legion until later on. Even towards the end of the Tomb of Sargeras, when the fallen avatar of Sargeras was defeated, Khadgar was all set to seal off the influx of demons and call it a day. But Velen had more aggressive plans. Some may say that the artifact weapon system allowed our power to be raised well above that of even champion mortals in order to carry out this task, and perhaps that was a harbinger of our destiny. But the same may now be said of the Azerite armour system. We will be harnessing the power of Azeroth herself in this expansion, with an amulet gifted to us for this very purpose. And for what? So we can fight a faction war? Is that what Azeroth has given us all this power for? No, that would be ludicrous. We're being set up yet again for another monumental victory over a hitherto undefeatable foe which threatens Azeroth herself. That is why, through Magni, she is helping us. If anyone seriously thinks that we're getting all this help from Azeroth through Magni as one group of people living on her surface, just so that we can knock 7 bells out of another group of people living on her surface, then send them my way. I have a bridge to sell them. Then there's the issue of Alleria and her dabbling with the Void. Although a storyline which began in the Legion expansion, it had nothing at all to do with the plot lines of that expansion. It also seemed a bit extreme as a way of simply creating an allied race. No, I always thought that this was the seed of a story which would germinate later. I think Alleria and her Void Elves are going to play a major part in the Battle for Azeroth expansion, which would tie in very strongly with the concept of actively pursuing a way to kill off Old Gods, the very servants of the Void. So within the space of 2 expansions, we could easily have taken out the 2 key existential threats which have loomed over all forms of the Warcraft games to date. So does this mean Warcraft will come to an end? No. Even when World of Warcraft comes to an end, and there's no sign of that just yet, the Warcraft franchise will surely carry on as long as Blizzard does. But it does look very much to me like they want to draw a line under the repeating cycle of Legion and old god interference and take the story in a completely new direction. Put simply, I think we're going to be taking out the old gods in this expansion. I don't think the battle for Azeroth is a war over territory with Horde against Alliance, as might be supposed at the moment. I think it's a literal battle for Azeroth, and as surprising as this might seem at this point, no more so than if we'd been told that the Burning Legion would be finally defeated soon, while we were still messing about in Tanaan Jungle during the Warlords of Draenor. If you'd like to discuss this or other topics further, then check out the Azeroth review, where viewers bring up any Warcraft related topics to discuss live every Tuesday. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook for notifications. I hope you enjoyed this speculation video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with others who may also be interested. And until next time, I'll see you later.